Calling because I'm living in a constant state of depression about them making us everybody trying to convince us to live in an alternate reality, including in this case Cuomo. I don't know if people know so much with things with that. I think the numbers are mostly okay, but I didn't know. Are you guys aware at all of the stuff with, in my opinion, messing with the metric timeline for reopening?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You got to be more specific. But
Yeah.
Amber, you got to back off. Or I'm going to have to let you go. You got to back off your phone. It's just too hot.
Okay.
Say again.
I got you like away from my.
A little bit closer. A little bit closer than that.
Okay.
Right?
There?
Yeah. A little bit further.
Okay.
This is some happy medium.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Basically, you needed 2 weeks of declines in hospitalizations and deaths. Western New York was not doing well. We were doing a little bit better for being in the same state with New York City, obviously, so we shut down a little earlier in our timeline. But our hospitalizations and everything was still trending up. We didn't fit the timeline, and then people announced that actually they were going to reset the clock from when New York pause ended on the 15th and only count the 2 weeks from then. So they only counted 3 days of data and then put us into phase one.
Wow.
And so I don't know if that was under Cuomo or Hochul's the one in charge of the region right now. But it's just craziness because now we're getting ready to go into phase two and we haven't even gotten the results yet of the 2 weeks going into phase one because we're only coming up on the time where the effects of that would take place.
Well, Amber, I appreciate the call. Thank you. And I think that basically proves the point where the incentive structure lies. The incentive structure lies even in blue states to sort of wrap this up as quickly as possible and go into denial as quickly as possible. And look, again, we may get lucky. We may be going into a lull and we may, but we don't know. The thing is you set benchmarks so that you are cutting out the emotional response to coming back out. You set those benchmarks when you're in the worst case scenario so that you hold those benchmarks so that, that's just like, it's just, I don't know. It's the best way to approach anything for that matter, right? Like you hold those benchmarks, but we're not doing that. And in some instances, here is this clip. Chris Cuomo is interviewing Rebecca Jones from a couple of days ago. She's talking about how they did basically this thing in Florida where DeSantis is like, I don't want to know what's going on in terms of these statistics because we're going to reverse engineer this. We're making a decision. You make the statistics fit that decision.
Exactly. Were you asked to do that was so unusual and improper and, in your opinion, wrong?
Well, the first time I was asked to do something improper was in April. And when I brought basically what the results of whether or not each county could open to superiors, they essentially told me they did not like the results.
How so? What does that mean they didn't like? Help us understand.
The results didn't match the report for reopening that had already been written, basically saying that a lot of rural counties, because of a wide range of reasons, didn't meet the criteria that the state had outlined in order to qualify for reopening, whereas some more populated counties did meet that criteria. And I was told that specifically, and this is a quote, we can't tell Jackson and Franklin County that they can't reopen, but Broward and Miami-Dade can.
Now, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think the nature of those counties also has another type of story that's going on there in terms of like where people are located and who populates those counties. I mean, I would imagine there's a general pressure of like, you can't let one county open and then other counties not. But in some instances, there's a little more of a sense of aggrievement with one nature of one county. But I don't know enough about that to make that type of blanket statement. But I suspect that that's involved there. But we see this dynamic across the country. It's not as naked as this, where you're like suppressing data. But in some instances, it's like, we're just going to ignore our own criteria for which to open up. All right, folks.